Welcome to another Saturday of Walts World NBA Talk. Oh man, the NBA season has gotten us going here. How you doing, Walt?
I'm doing great. NBA is fantastic. And the beautiful thing about the NBA this year, it seems like a great deal of parity going on in the league. Every
There's
day,
no
any given day, you could lose a ball game, whether you're away or at home. It doesn't matter.
Yes, and I mean, and some teams that have started off with a bag of the boom, they've also cooled off some. I mean, you're talking about the Washington Wizards, who are 4-1 right now, the best start that they've had in years. The Knicks are number one at 4-1 in the division, so we
Hey,
got that going.
yeah, like Stephen A. said, we're here. We're here.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so let's get started with the Nets, right?
Sure.
Okay. So yesterday they played the Pacers. They played them, and they won 105-98. Did you see this game?
Yeah, I saw some of the game. Yes, I did.
Okay, so let me say this. I just got to say this right here. Okay, so one of my concerns has been the fact that every time that I'm watching these games, and especially the Nets, right? The Nets are winning. They're winning in the third quarter. They take Kevin Durant out for about 6-7 minutes, right? They bring him back with 7 minutes left in the game to try to win the game because they lost everything along the way. I think it's ridiculous that the NBA is allowing this. Like they're making the regular season mean nothing. What do you think?
They're saving the ball players for the playoffs. Not personally, I don't think that's fair to the fans. Because hey, if Kevin Durant is either having a good game or a bad game, he needs to be in there. They need to win ball games. And the one thing I don't like to hear about any kind of NBA play, oh, we're saving the players for the playoffs. Hey, every game should be important because when you think about it, your record dictates where you end up in the ratings at the end of the season.
And I'm going to tell you, it's going to come back and bite them because I think that they're going to end up having to play some teams early in the early rounds that they might not want to meet, just because exactly what you said. Because we're talking about Atlanta, we're talking about Miami, we're talking about the Bucks, we're talking about the Knicks now, right? We're even talking about Charlotte.
Oh, well, one thing that you mentioned, Juan, that I got to give you kudos for, Miami's been beating people like a drum. I'll tell you. Miami is playing some excellent basketball. And you know what they say the reason why they're playing excellent basketball? It's the thing that you always preach all the time. Great defense. Great team defense. And that's winning ball games for Miami. They're not the biggest team in the NBA, but they execute well on offense because they move the ball well. And they got great three-point shooters. Because almost every one of them can shoot the three. But most important, the way they play defense, the way they help on defense is really making some stops at the defensive end of the court. And then once they rebound well, they out rebound most of the teams that are much bigger than they are because the Pat Riley system. They know how to box out and get that ball out in the wings and to fill the lane. So I think it's really a compliment to also their coach. Miami's coached
Absolutely.
very well.
Absolutely. Now, last game, Kevin Durant scored 22, which is not normal. He played 37 minutes. Okay. James Harden played 35 minutes. He scored 29. His shot is starting to go in, man. What do you think about the bearded one? I know you've been down on him.
Well, I'm not convinced yet, and for a long time now, even when he was playing with OKC, he came off the bench. He was a sixth man when he played for OKC, and he came in and he was scoring well. But for some reason, I don't see him as a point guard. Okay,
Really?
and also because the point guard is supposed to pass the ball, not dribble the ball. He spends a lot of time dribbling the ball. Point guards are supposed to get rid of the ball quick, get the ball back, and get it on the other end of the court, on the other side of the court. He does not do that well. As a matter of fact, he eats up the clock a lot. And then whether he shoots it or when he releases it, there's not much time left on the shot clock. So I don't think he's a real true point guard. I think he's a great ball player. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking any way away from his skills. He's just in the wrong position.
Well, it's interesting because even before Kyrie went through all this whole situation that we got going on over here, uh, Kyrie has said that's our point guard, right? Because Kyrie has always been a point guard wherever he's played. Okay, so he decided that that's what they were going to do. Now, yesterday, I hear you loud and clear because it was like he was back in Houston. He was dribbling a whole lot, man. Pity patting back and forth. You know what I mean? I like James Harden. I'm rooting for him. Okay, I'm rooting for Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn. But you know what? If they're gonna get to the championship this year with this team that they have right now, right? They got a lot of growing to do. One of the things that I'm disappointed about is the fact that Joe Harris was an all-star before they came. What happened?
Well, basically, was he the third, fourth option now? And most of the time, when he gets the ball, it's a desperation shot.
Right.
Now. I mean, every time he gets the ball, now he's got 2 or 3 seconds to get the shot off. That's not
Right.
enough time for a real great shooter. The shooter should have enough time to square up to the basket and get a good shot at the basket. Every time I see him now, he's fading. He's not square to the basket, and he's trying to beat the clock. That's not going to work. But getting back to the Nets. Okay, my friend. I know you love Brooklyn. I know you're from Brooklyn. But I'm sorry to say, Mr. Castillo, the Knicks look better
Well,
as a team. The Knicks look better as a team. Coached much better. They are better coached as well, sir.
Well, let's go to the Knicks, and I'm a Knicks fan. I mean, if the Knicks play against Brooklyn, I'm going with the Knicks because I've been a long time Knicks fan. I mean, I'm from Brooklyn, so I kind of jumped on the bandwagon. Yeah, it's in my blood, and the Barclays and all that and whatever, right? But let's get to the Knicks, okay? Why do you think they're doing so well this year?
Why do I think they're doing so well? Because
yes.
Personally, they got. As far as I'm concerned, they got 2 great point guards. Seasoned, make good decisions. One can penetrate the basket and dish off and shoot the 3. You got another one who's just, Walker is a close, he's an all-star. I got to give it to him. I mean, for a guy his height and his, he really is coming on. He made a last-second shot the other night. He's really coming on. I think he's going to be a great asset to the Knicks. The only deficiency is his defense. But I will say this: Randall, and Barrett, they all seem to really like playing with each other too. And see, that's another thing. If you look at chemistry, right, Juan?
Yes.
Knicks have better chemistry. They're starting to like each other on the court and off the court. Topin comes off the bench, quickly. Burks, they're all rallying around each other, and that's what you need if you're going to win ball games, particularly the close ones. The Nets have a lot of dissension going on right now, and with all that talent that they have, if you don't have a real leader, it's hard to put it together.
No, I mean I agree with that, and of course they're my Knicks, so I'm really rooting for them, and I'm very happy about it. But of course, I'm going to be critical because that's the only way that you get to win. And one of the problems that I have is the ball sometimes goes into the black hole when it goes to Randall. That could hurt you in the playoffs. Okay.
Very good point.
He gets the ball on that side. He's dribbling. We just finished talking about another dribbler, Joe Harden. And I mean, I watched one particular play where he stayed on the left hand side. Somebody gave him a pick. He tried to come off the pick, it didn't happen. Then another pick on the same side, nothing happened. Then another pick, and at that point the clock was down. He took it back to the top of the key. By the time it went to the other side, it was a hurried shot.
Yeah.
So if the Knicks don't get that together, right, they're not going to go far in the playoffs because there's too many good teams out here.
But I think Randall is I think he's going to learn as he goes along. Hopefully, I think he's going to learn. And also, you got to understand one thing, too, Juan, what you already know. their coach is not going to tolerate too much. I mean, right now, I think he's really, really coming into his own as a coach. Thibodeau's a great coach. And he's known for his defense, but their offense is coming along. And you got Walker now who can calm them down. Barrett's
Yes.
maturing. I think Barrett's doing a
Yes.
good job. And you know
Yes.
what? I hate to say this. One of my favorite point guards is Rose. Derrick Rose. I just love the way he plays. And he might cut into Walker's time. If Walker don't hit those threes, I think Thibodeau will put Derrick Rose in there because, they've been together for a long time now.
Yeah,
Derrick
and
Rose and Thibodeau.
I mean, Evan Fournier is a great addition to the team. I know against the Chicago game, he only scored 10 points. He played 33 minutes. Got 3 rebounds, got 1 assist. That's important. He's got to bring up that assist situation. You know what I mean? Kemba got 21, and Derrick Rose scored 12. Now he only in 19 minutes, right? So that's exactly what you're talking about. Now the odd man out is, of course, we're talking about Emmanuel Quickly, IQ, who's one of my favorite players, man. I really love him. I think he's going to end up leaving. They're going to probably, they don't have any room for him. He can't. Look, he played 13 minutes, okay? You can't, in the NBA, you can't really get better playing 13 minutes. Simple.
But but on the bright side, if anybody gets in foul trouble, he comes in and gives them the spark that they need.
Yeah, he
So
does.
that's the unfortunate thing. He doesn't want to be used that way, but at least he's on reserve, and he can be an asset. If he if they really need him, he can go in there and really get them going. So it's a tough situation, and he's young. He's got mature guards ahead of him. Because in the playoffs, he might make playoff mistakes for a younger guy. I don't know. I think he's got a great promise in the league. But let's face it, Derrick Rose and Walker, they're legit. They are legit.
Yeah. And then Toppin, of course, broke out a couple of games ago. And he runs the floor fantastic. I mean, and he got the hops, man. I mean, he
He's
threw
one of
one.
my favorite Knicks. He's one of my favorite Knicks.
He threw one down a couple of games ago that was out of this world. You know what I mean?
Wow, his head's in the rim.
Yeah, man. This guy can play. But I think, look, man, we're 4-on-1. We're doing pretty good, And I'm gonna mention something else, right? New York still has the best crowd in the NBA.
Yes, they do.
I mean, and I'm watching some of these other arenas, man, and it's like they don't make any noise. They're coming in like at halftime. They don't come in for about 5-10 minutes after halftime. You know what I'm saying?
It's more social. It's like a social. Like even like Miami, as good as Miami is, I used to go down there on vacation. And
Right.
My nephew used to give us nice tickets because he worked down that way. And at halftime, you're sitting there having tea and coffee, and the game's going on. So New York loves basketball. There's one guy we forgot, Juan.
Who's that?
I think does make a difference between the Nets and the Knicks is Robinson.
Hey, listen, Mitchell Robinson is the real deal, right? Mitchell Robinson alone is going to take them past the first and second round. They needed him last year. And he's the real deal.
And he's getting better.
Yes, as long as he don't get hurt, we're gonna be all right. You know what I mean? But now, so let's get to the Celtics, man. What do you think about it? Now? Horford is back, by the way. You know that,
Yes,
right?
they are, and they're looking much better. And
Yes.
the last time when they played the Knicks, I think that the problem with the Knicks and the Celtics game the last time, Tatum had a bad game, but he hasn't had a bad game since then.
No, he has not.
He redeemed himself the last couple of games. I'm telling you, they're another team to watch. They're like, I put them in the category of Atlanta. You come in there and you play them light, they can beat you bad. So, you got to be careful with the Celtics in Atlanta because those two teams play similar. You catch them on a bad night and they'll beat you like a drum. They
Oh,
got a good cast of players. They got the Williams brothers. I call them the Williams brothers. You got you got Rob and Grant. They're
yep.
balling. You got Radford, he's a good backup, and your boy Smart. He's like a coach's dream, and
That's
they
my
always show
man.
in the close games, and they got two assassins in Brown and Tatum. So you
Oh
can't play
yeah.
them lightly.
Yeah, now I'm definitely, I am definitely really high on the Celtics right now. I think that they play the Raptors. Right now they're playing the Washington Wizards. Actually, it's 76-73 exactly in the fourth quarter. Now I told you, see, Washington is one of those teams that every time they came, you put that down, it was like a win, right? That ain't the case anymore.
I know.
All right, so it's 76-73, 76-74 now. But no, I like them. I mean, I like him a lot. I think that Marcus Smart is my favorite player. In the NBA. Period. Pound for pound, there's nobody better than him.
And the Celtics, like you say, and I don't know if you realize it, but the 76ers in Atlanta are going at it tonight.
Oh wow, that's gonna be a big one.
That's going to be good, 7:30 tonight. And the problem is, I'm a little disappointed with the 76ers because they got the problem that the Nets have. I mean, that normally doesn't happen to Doc Rivers. I think he's gonna put his foot down. You better put it down real quickly because before you know it, you'll be 10 games behind because they're not playing well. Embiid's not playing well. The best guy on the court right now is Curry.
Hey, listen, Embiid. I gotta say this, man. Like, Sam Bowie. Remember him?
Yes.
Okay.
Very well put.
Sam Bowie back in the day.
I remember.
Great player in college, came to the pros and constantly getting hurt over and over and over
game.
again.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? And Embiid is the same situation. Now, I think that the reason he gets hurt is because, he's trying to do some things that he really shouldn't be doing as a big guy, number one, right? And part of that is he don't want to stay inside.
All the big guys want to shoot threes.
He wants to drive to the basket, and and that's how you get hurt, man. I mean, you remember when Mike was getting beat up by Detroit, Mike said, okay, you know what, I'm gonna start taking some jump shots, man. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I think that the league is looking good. The East is looking very, very good, my brother.
And physical too. The physicality in the East is really improving because they used to be considered soft for a while because the West Coast used to knock you around, but the West Coast kind of looks soft because everybody in the West Coast are walking around with canes right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and listen, man, you called it right because I got to give you kudos. Yo, Golden State, man.
I love that basketball team. And
oh my God!
What I find interesting, they have half their team already not even playing yet.
Exactly.
That's amazing. And you know what? And I have no doubt, Juan, and I appreciate the compliment on that. And I have no doubt that when those guys come in, they fall right into the system. There's no dissension. They know what the expectations are. They know what their roles are. It's not like you got to sit down and go over plays with them because they fall right in, and they're great role players, and they win. They win ball games. And that's what it's all about. You win together as a team.
Team basketball, man. Team basketball.
And defense.
You know what I mean?
You see their defense, Juan?
It's on point, my brother.
Your baskets, and they're not the biggest team in the world either.
Yeah, I mean, I watched them against the Warriors. I mean, against the Thunder. They won 106-98. And let me tell you something. I seen that ball go around the horn like there's no tomorrow.
Fast.
And guess what? You can't outrun the ball. You can't outrun the ball.
That's
right. And when you get the ball on a wing, when a guy is moving, either coming up to me or trying to catch me, I got you. I
Yeah,
got you now. I could drive. I could take a jumper, and you're not going to be in the defensive position that you need to be in because the ball is moving around the horn.
yeah, and it's moving quickly. And you know what? It was really nice about watching them play. You know, they got a couple teams playing just like them. You know who else? The
Who's that?
Bulls are moving that ball around too.
The
The
Bulls are
Chicago
looking good.
Bulls, you know, they're
The
winning
Bulls are
ball
looking.
games, and they're not the biggest team in the world either. But that ball moves around fast. They got DeRozan with a new playing a new role. You got your boy Caruso from LA. He's playing
Yep.
like he's insane. You know,
Yep.
Levine.
Yep.
I tell you, it's just some great parity in the league. One, the East Coast is slamming.
Yeah, and I mean, look on the West Coast side. I mean, you still got my team that I picked to win the championship personally, right? And that's Utah. That's Utah. I mean,
The only undefeated team right now.
that's right. I mean, and no disrespect to Giannis, because just like I'm saying that I'm picking my team. I wouldn't be surprised if Milwaukee wins the championship. You know what I'm saying? But I love Utah, and they had another year under their belt. You know, they came. You know, in the later into the tournament last year, they were hurt too. You know what I mean? You know, because you got to stay healthy. I mean, that's really what it's all about. You know, my boy John Morant is going to be a hard out in the playoffs.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
you know, he had he got locked down the other night, but he got not, but I mean, but the reality of it all is that, that's what's going to happen, if you want to be an MVP player, you got to understand that, look, you could lock me down one game. And lockdown means I still scored 20 something.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And to your point, Juan, and you can reminiscent to Stephon Curry, he gets triple double and said I had a bad game.
Yes.
That's what epitomizes to me as an MVP guy kind of guy. He can get triple doubles and not be happy. See,
Well,
that's you know what I'm saying. You got to be demanding of yourself as a ball player.
Yeah, and I mean, and then and in Denver's looking good too. All right, so
Without Murray, right?
yeah, without Murray, yeah, and I don't know what's happening. When is he supposed to come back? Do you know?
They're saying that right now it's undecisive. I think he really hurt himself. They don't they're really not putting a timetable on it.
Yeah, that's crazy,
But
right?
they're still winning ball games. The Joker
Yeah.
got hurt the other day too. I think he's
Yeah, he got hurt.
a couple games. So
He got hurt
They're
too.
strong club. But
Absolutely.
get back to your Utah team. I'm telling you, they got the best defensive player. They got some guards that can play some basketball.
Yo, man.
And and they got some they got some guys that can shoot some threes too. And then they got the best six man in the game.
Oh, come on, man. This boy is ridiculous, man. You know what I mean? And let me say this though. I think that personally, that's why I like the Jazz, is that they have the most the most rounded team in the league. That's what I believe.
No question.
I mean, you talk about Michael Porter Jr., right? Aaron Gordon, who can give you 20 every game, right? Michael Porter is on his way, right?
Yes, he is.
That kid Will Barton is amazing.
Yes.
And look, man, Jeff Green is over there now, right?
Yes, he is.
And the Nets need him right now.
And I agree. And one, the biggest disappointment in the West has been Phoenix. I really don't. I can't. I'm not feeling Phoenix.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of that has to do. I think that it's psychological. I think that what they went through last year really got to them. And that's coaching. They got to get around that. Somehow. You know what I mean? So. But yeah, man, and of course, Lakers. Everybody walking around with a cane over there in L.A. Right?
I'm telling you, the Lakers, they got some issues, and I really don't think that I don't think they're gonna make it this year, Juan. I mean, everybody predicting them to be champions, and I don't know if they may not even make the playoffs the way they're playing. And AD's hurt again. He's walking around talking about he's hurt. I
again.
think LeBron's probably making movies right now. So you
Yeah,
know
his
they're
ankle.
not. I don't see the energy one. And Dwight Howard. I think they're getting ready to get rid of him.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. He made too much noise.
they got some explaining to do. And they need a new coach. I mean, they need a coach. And your boy Westbrook, I don't know. Can you explain what's going on with him, please? I need help.
Well, the thing is this: is that I've come to the conclusion because I'm a Westbrook fan.
I know.
I've been rooting for him. He needs his own team. He needs a big guy. He needs another guard that could just let him do his thing, and that's it.
Man.
Now, I don't know if that is going to win him a championship, right? But there's just some guys that got those kinds of games, man.
Yeah.
I mean, look, as great as AI was, right?
Right.
Think about it.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, and I'm not saying anything negative about him because that's my boy, right? But
Yeah.
he can cross you over and this and that and running around and boom, boom, boom. But guess what?
He lost the game.
No championships.
You're right.
There's some guys that just, I mean, their game is not fit for team ball. I'm gonna take you back. I'm gonna take you back though before you go on. Pete Maravich.
Yeah, you're right. Man, he has some skills.
Pete Maravich. So for the old heads out there, you know what we're talking about. All right.
Oh yeah.
This dude was amazing. He was playing. He was playing like a globetrotter in the NBA.
Man, he was magical. No question about it. And that was during my time when I saw him coming along. I remember it was Mount, Maravich, and Murphy, man, when they were in college. Remember?
Yep.
3M.
And he had the droopy socks. Remember the droopy socks?
Yeah. Mount, Maravich, Murphy, and Malloy. That was that era, man. They had some basketball players. But another thing too, like he was a wizard, and he scored something like 40-something points a game in college.
Yeah.
But he had to do his thing, and until he went, then they sent him to the Celtics, and that was his downfall.
Yeah. Well, see, you know what it is. He had a lot of problems with his dad because his father coached him. Remember?
Yes.
And and his dad was just like, just go for self, right? You know what I mean? and that's not basketball, man. I mean, that's not basketball. But again, that's my problem with Westbrook. I think it was a bad match. However, I'm still rooting for it. I was thinking that LeBron was going to turn him around, and I think LeBron is still working on him.
It's going to be tough because there were a couple of times I saw when he was playing, he even passed LeBron, he just blew right by LeBron, hit the side of the backboard.
Yeah. Well, you're going to get that with him. But the thing is that see, he really should be coming off the bench, man. But see, his ego is not going to allow that, and the coach is not going to push it. But he can come off the bench and be like, Vinnie Brown, the microwave. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that ain't gonna happen because he won't. He'll want to be traded right away if he's not starting.
Yeah.
But, you gotta have I like Rondo there. I think he gets him under control.
True.
But it's
True.
Maybe down the road. I don't know. In the playoffs, it's gonna be interesting because in the playoffs, I think he will hurt them more than help them. I really do. If they make the playoffs.
So now so I got a big question for you right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I got one for you. Okay. We got our boy Vinny over in Milwaukee. So
Yes, sir.
we loyal to Vinny and all of that, right? You've been pushing right at this stage in the season, right? The Warriors play Milwaukee. Who wins the championship?
There's no question about it's going to be Golden State, and I tell you why.
Wow!
I would want Milwaukee because I'm loyal to my boy. I to the end. I love. He's a son I never had. Okay, so
yes.
Golden State is just too smart a ball club. They just execute so well. They epitomize what basketball's all about. Team basketball. And they happen to have superstars. How do you fit superstars How do you make superstars to be a team? That's hard to do. And
Absolutely.
they have the recipe to make superstars into team ball. I mean, that's
So,
hard.
so let me ask you this though. So because I think so, if Utah goes ahead and beats them, right,
Beat who?
and beats Golden State, I'm just, if they do that and they get to the championship and they play against Milwaukee, who you got then?
Oh, I'm going with Milwaukee. because look at the matchup. Look at the guards. You got bigger guards for Milwaukee. Middleton will have a field day. Holiday, the guards are much bigger. Because if you look at Utah, they're all small guards, right?
But
Then
Walter,
the centers are easily be matched. And the Greek freak, who's going to handle him?
look, you still got to drive down the basket,
Yeah.
and my man is going to be waiting. There's going to be some shots that are going to be altered.
Okay, but also he can get in foul trouble, and now the Greek freak knows how to make foul shots too. I got an answer for you now.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Well, listen.
The foul line out is better at the threes.
Well, listen. Right now, I would agree with you, but I'm still hedging on Utah. Let me say this: I'm feeling more comfortable about Utah coming out of the West than Golden State. Personally, I do.
Well, I think that'll hold true if Thompson and Wiseman don't come back. I would have to agree with you there.
Okay.
If those two guys come back, forget about it. And another thing too that I find interesting is you haven't mentioned much about Atlanta.
Listen. That's your team, right? But you know what?
You know what?
Go ahead.
Memphis.
Yes.
Them boys
Absolutely.
are balling, man. Did you see them last night? They
Yeah. Well. That's my boy. I mean, Ja is my boy. So I mean, I hear you loud and clear. But you know something, bro. Neither one of those teams are ready this year. They're not.
You mean in the East?
Yeah, they're not ready.
My only fear is those young legs, man. When you get down to the end of the season, who's not hurt? Because sometimes these veterans now they walk around and they wait till they get down to the fourth end of the year, and then they get hurt, and then young boys start looking like road runners, man.
Yeah, true.
Strong
True.
legs win, man. Because look at last year. It was all young boys playing.
That's right. They
It's changing now.
they hung around. Oh yeah.
Veterans a whole lot of cut. Them young boys say, I'll dunk on you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Well, listen, my brother, we're gonna get back together early next week, man, and continue to talk about the NBA. It's a great season, and the All-American Walter Luckett, he Golden State all the way, man. Right now, I can't even believe it. I mean, going against the Milwaukee Bucks.
Well, don't
Making
say that
news,
too loud.
making news. All right, brother. Listen, have a great evening, man, and
You too, my brother.
and I'll see you next week, my brother. Take care.
Have a blessed one.